who was then clotheslined in her effort to aid the brood materially when, the aforementioned fine mind notwithstanding, no better task presented than secretary at the local rock radio station, WEIC, which position she would lose anyway at a time roughly concurrent with the loss of her husband's job at Unabridged. Town was where this woman beheld the great locust wave of in-laws come in search of money she did not have, or could not possibly spare, where out of empathy, or embarrassment, or guilt, or a confluence of these ills, she took it upon herself to provide the odd car ride or bed, and to ignore this one's taste for drugs, and that one's taste for morons, and to stuff the more malnourished babies with what was at hand, and to keep abreast of each tragically unavoidable court date, until the afternoon came when she saw her husband exorcise the drunken swarm of them from his yard, after which they drove up and down the street and shouted threats to kill him, after which he shouted threats to kill them sooner, after which I find it hard to believe that my mother did not reflect upon the likelihood that she had thus far escaped this lot's lot only by grace of the humble sums she still asked for, and received, from her kind, if disappointed, town parents. Town, for me, will forever remain a place where one put a bag of questionable design on one's head for Halloween, and acquired what candy as the bag allowed, and vomited in surprise and fury the next morning on the filthy tiled floor outside an aunt's efficiency apartment, wherein slept a beloved infant cousin whose metal-toothed sire was unaccounted for, and who would in time, the infant, grow up to burn down his high school and find steady if unsung work as an adjunct to the beef industry. My younger sister's memories of town may be few, but surely include the day the worse-off people around the corner, whose sole consolation in life appeared to be the fried chicken dinner an area philanthropist stood them to once each week, leashed a mutt by means of a frayed electrical cord plugged into an outdoor socket, so that the entire neighborhood might hear the poor creature's shrieks as it caught fire and perished. She has shown a fondness for almost all God's animals since. Our brother alone seemed to extract some pleasure from town, being older and hence afforded friends in a paper route, and having gained for himself a measure of boyhood fame when in guile he lured the thieves of a treasured lunchbox down into the ravine through which ran the local sewage creek, and there received them cruelly with his friends' fists and his own, not to mention the impressive might of the sewage itself. His was the earliest recognition of, and the only real objection to, the fact that our family was set to quit the company of mankind altogether if it could, and plant itself once more in the desolate slough from which it had but recently crawled. Tarnation. We would have done well to heed the dissenter, for as frail as the rest of us found town to be, it was, and always had been, the one conceivable bulwark against an annihilation that has hunted every human who dared, or was by circumstance forced, to set his foot upon this treacherous soil. Did the Indian not spread himself over the new land by band and by village? Did the Spaniard or the Frenchman not pause in his slaughter of the Indian to put up his forts against the bear and the water and the wind? Did the Englishman not hurriedly arrange in his attempt to destroy the Spaniard and the Frenchman, and, of course, the Indian, the huts of his vanished Roanoke? And did he not raise up his Jamestown and his Plymouth all the faster? Did the Dutchman not hoodwink the Indian so that he might secure his New Amsterdam? And did he not war